Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. I got a really quick video. It's a really good tip video today, something I found that helps me out. It's super simple. I'm working on this a really large L-shaped built-in vanity. This is a real custom vanity. It's very unique as it's a floating 6 inches off the floor. It's still a 28-inch box, so it's very unique to this customer. So I have all these parts scattered all around, and this is basically just to help me get everything organized here so that these, I know, are all the parts for the boxes, the bottoms, the sides, and everything. These are all my stretchers and all of my my nailers and everything off to the sides. What I need to do, I have a blind corner cabinet that I need to make for this. So I already have all the parts cut for the box itself. But when you do a blind corner cabinet, you need to make a filler strip where the other box comes in at that angle. And you need a filler strip on the side going in so that the door won't hit when it swings out. You also need a filler on the actual blind corner cabinet so that door, when it opens, it won't hit the other side. So what I have to do is I have to cut a filler strip that's going to go in between the top and the bottom. So it can't be the same size as the sides. Even though I have a stop block already set up for the sides, I still have to subtract the thickness of the plywood for the top and the bottom because the sides are sandwiched between the top and the bottom. That's for structural purposes. So that's where your shear strength comes in for your screws when your boxes are screwed together. So let's head over to the MFT because I have the stop block set up for this size already, which is the size. This is a 28-inch box because of that floating vanity, and you have to make it the specific height for when the counter goes in. It still has to be the standard height for the building code. So let's go over to the MFT. I have the stop block set up where I cut all these parts. I'm going to show you a little trick on how I can actually, without moving the stop block or doing any measuring or marking, I can actually get my internal dimensions for that filler strip. Okay, so check this out. This is really cool. You see how I have my MFT set up. I have my two MFTs. I have the TSO extension table in the back there, and I have my Festool extension MFT table over there. So this way I have this whole total really long cutting station. I use this for cutting really long pieces. In this situation here, the reason that I have the stop block set up at the height of the sides of all the base cabinets for this vanity is because all of the parts had to be broken down from the full 4x8 sheet. So you have an 8-foot section that you need to cut, and it's wide. This is a 22-inch deep vanity. So all those parts, to try to cut them on the table saw, even with that little sliding extension that I have, it's really not built for that. It's built for more smaller parts. So having this set up now at 710, I still have to get my internal dimension for the filler strip that's going to go inside, sandwiched between the top and the bottom of that cabinet. Minus 36, the plywood is 18 millimeters thick. So a top and a bottom together, 18 and 18 is 36. But if you didn't want to do the math or have to worry about hitting the calculator or anything like that, this simple trick right here is going to save you a lot of time, and you won't have to move your stop block just in case you forgot any of the parts that you need to cut at 710. Later on, you could always go back, and that's why I leave it here. It's all set up already for those sides in case I need extra boxes or filler strips. It's already set there. So what you do here now, if I was to use this stop block and just butt this piece up against it right here, and I was to make this cut, this would be 710. It would be no good. It would be too long. I would still have to cut off 36 millimeters for the two pieces of plywood. I've already squared that end up. So if I need to subtract 36 millimeters, why not, instead of marking it out and then moving the stop block or using a secondary stop block, all you have to do, now I brought you in a little bit closer so you can see this, all you have to do is take two of your scrap cutoffs. If you butt them together, that is 36 millimeters right there. So if I was to just put this in here up against my stop block, just like that, and then take this piece and butt it right up against there, right up against those two pieces, and it's against the stop block now. Now when I cut this piece, it's already going to be to the dimension I need. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's put on safety equipment and cut this piece. And also another quick tip for you when you're cutting on the MFT, if you're cutting a strip that's it's kind of narrow, it's only 100 millimeters wide, this piece, so you're going to have all this empty space here. If you bring this piece down and you don't have any supports underneath, when you put the track saw on there, it's going to bow the rail. So just take a couple of your scrap cutoffs and stick them underneath where the rail goes, and then you drop the rail down. Make sure you're in that pin, and now you can see I have the support here. So when I put the track saw on top of this, it's not going to bow down and mess up my cut or bend my rail. So I'm going to put on my safety equipment, I'm going to make this cut, and then we're going to measure it out and see what it comes out to. Okay, so now we have that, it's fresh off the cut right here. I'm gonna measure it out. And I said I needed 674, and that's gonna give me, you know, the clearance to fit inside of the box between the top and the bottom. So let me bring this over to you so you can see it. Let's see if I can get this on camera without it getting blurry. Let's see how I can do this. That is dead on 674. So that's exactly the dimensions that I need to fit in between the top and the bottom of this blind corner cabinet. Now I need another piece. It needs to be 60 millimeters wide, but since I already have this piece here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this and then rip it down to 60. So this way I will have two of the same exact pieces that I need at 674 millimeters long. Okay, there we go. Now I have my two parts. That is a quick way for you to get your dimensions without having to measure and mark or move your stop blocks around and have to. Now, like you're going to say, why didn't you just cut that on the miter saw? Well, I cut all of my bigger parts here already, so my setting is there. It takes the human error out of me remeasuring and marking and cutting something that's a little too long and then having to trim it again and fine tune it, or if I cut it too short and then I have to throw the piece away because it's scrap, or just put it to the side and use it for something else because it doesn't fit. So if you're wondering why I didn't cut the smaller part like that on the miter saw, that's the reason right there. Sometimes you have to think about 10 steps ahead. So basically by leaving that stop block in place there after I cut the sides, that helped me out with a bunch of things. Number one, it helped me cut all the side parts to the same dimensions for the bigger pieces. And then, like I said, with the parts like this where I needed it, or if I forgot a piece to cut and I needed to cut later on, I have that already set in that spot. And I do this a lot even when I'm making cabinets for kitchens. When I have this, my normal setting on this is about 768 millimeters, which is the normal standard box height for the frameless cabinets. So which is the 30 inches, and then you have a 30 or 30 and a half inches, and then you have your 4-inch toe kick, and that gives you the 34 and a half, and then 1.5 inches countertop height gives you your standard 36 inch or 35 and a half inch cabinet height for your base cabinets. Your countertop height, I should say. So by leaving those stop blocks in place when you're doing production runs like this and building a lot of these cabinets, that helps a lot. Let's take a quick walk over to the hinge boring machine. I want to show you what's in store for the one of the next videos that I do. Okay, so on this side of the shop here, I have my hinge boring machine set up. You may have seen me do a quick little short video on Instagram and a short on YouTube where I use this without these 8mm bits. I just took those out because the hinge that I was using at that time didn't require the dowels to be drilled in, and the offsets of the screws was 48mm instead of 45. So I just removed those, and I was able to just use the 35mm boring bit that's in there and get my my hinge bore in the doors. But now the hinges that I'm using, the clip top inserter bloom hinges, they require those dowels to be drilled in there, 8mm holes for the dowels to go in, and then it's a tool-free setup. So I have this set up where I drill down my 13mm deep in the boring and also for the dowel drilling bits. So it does that all in one shot. So in the next video, stay tuned. I'm going to show you how I get my measurements for my hinges, where how I bore them out, and how I measure off of the plans and what they need to be, the specifications to each hinge. So definitely make sure that you are subscribed so that you can see that and you don't miss it. Okay, everybody, so I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. I got to get back to work, so I try to make that as quick as possible. I got to finish this vanity up. I gave them a lead time, and I really want to stick to it. I want to try to be ahead of schedule, so I got to get back to work. All right, guys, thanks for joining me in the shop. I hope you got something out of this. I hope that really helps you and you use that, and it definitely speeds up your productivity in your shop, or just makes your life a little bit easier if you're really not in a rush when you're doing things. That will definitely make your life easier by inserting those pieces against your stop block for the takeaway of what you need for your dimensions for your interior of your cabinet if you need to cut parts for that. Okay, guys, I'll see you next time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit that picture of a notification bell. It's going to notify you every time I upload a new video. I try to make it on a weekly basis as much as possible that I can, depending on what the time allows me for the jobs I'm doing. And make sure that you check the links in the description below so that you can check on any of the tools that I use. So those are my affiliate links. So if you need to make any of those purchases for your shop and tools that you need, you can head over there and click on those links, and it will take you directly to those tools. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Have a great weekend.